When did you know? And what did you advise ministers was the scale of the rebuilding required?
So there was an initial survey that the department carried out before I was the permanent secretary, about 10 years ago. First time such a survey had ever been carried out, because schools were now being run increasingly by the department. A second survey was commissioned in my time, and we saw that the backlog of repairs had increased. We saw the scale of the rebuilding programme that was needed. 300 to 400 schools needed to be replaced per year because of these system-built schools, post-war, concrete, only supposed to have a design life of 30 to 40 years. Therefore, they need to be rebuilt, and we needed to increase the scale of the programme accordingly.
So, to be clear, the Department for Education goes to the Treasury and say, we need money to rebuild 300 to 400 schools a year, and you got what?
So while I was the permanent secretary, we got the funding to replace about 100 schools per year.
A third or a quarter of what you'd asked for?
Absolutely.
What was your reaction when you were told that?
So it's frustrating, of course, when for you the most important thing is the priority to be given to safety. If the Treasury, of course, have got a concern that there's never enough money for everything, but we were able to present them with really good data. We weren't just saying there's a significant risk of fatality. We were saying there's a critical risk to life if this programme is not funded. While I was the permanent secretary in 2018, a concrete block fell from the roof of a primary school. So it wasn't just a risk, it was actually starting to happen. The spending review was completed a year after I left the department, and I was absolutely amazed to see that the decision made by the government was to halve the school rebuilding programme, down from 100 a year to 50 a year.
To be clear then, in the department you were saying we need to rebuild 300 to 400. It became 100 a year, and after you left the department it went down to 50 a year.
Yes, to be clear, we know what's needed, 300 to 400. There's only so much capacity in the construction industry. There's disruption if you close schools and rebuild them. So the actual ask in the spending review in 2021 was to double the 100 to 200. That's what we thought was going to be practical in the first instance. I thought we'd get it, but the actual decision that the Chancellor took in 21 was to halve the size of the programme.
Now, ministers, the Chancellor, of course, was at the time?
Rishi Sunak.
Now, what ministers will say is, but there is new evidence that things that we thought were a long-term problem, but not an immediate cause of a crisis, we've now been told differently because the evidence has changed and we're reacting accordingly.
So there's no secret about the fact that these concrete system-built schools post-war had a design life of 30 to 40 years. You don't know when any individual concrete block is going to crack because it cracks from the inside, but you know it's going to happen, and it has.